What is up, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast or the cast.
Yep.
It is the Rachel goes, yep. We're so glad you guys can make it for this episode. You might be wondering, Tim,
where's your guitar?
Yeah, where's my guitar? What's going on? Well, I'm playing the air guitar today. No, yeah,
crazy.
No, with today's episode, we wanted to kind of open up enough space for our topic today, and so we decided to forego the worship for just this episode, and so we can dive into the topic. But before we do that, we still want to encourage you guys. We want to engage. Wait, is it engage? Encourage, teach, and learn. Not two T's,
not two L's,
but two E's. That's right, EDO. So we want to encourage, engage, teach, and learn from each other. So why don't we do that? And to start that off, Rachel.
What's up, Tim?
Let's share the Bible encouragement verse of the day. What we got?
Okay, I wrote this one down today. It's a familiar one. A lot of you probably know this one. But it's John 16:33. I have said these things to you that in me, you may have peace. In the world you'll have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. I wrote that down. I have a lot going on right now in my life. There's a lot happening. A lot of what ifs. Is that going to happen? Is this going to happen? And I don't.
We'll talk about that.
I have not been feeling a lot of peace with it. So it's good. It's a good reminder that it's not my plans,
That's right.
but it's the Lord's plans, and I'm just living it out and following through. So
Yeah, and there's freedom in that, right? It's knowing that you don't have any control, and so you just allow God to continue to influence your life and move the things around you, and so take heart. The Lord's got something in plan.
Yeah.
But Rachel, how are you doing? What were you? What are the news that you what's going on?
Oh, the news. A few podcasts ago, we mentioned it, so I might as well share it.
Yeah, here we go.
I am no longer moving out, and it's a load, and it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack, but it's been a process trying to figure that out. With the lease and all the things, and so, just taking it a day at a time, figuring it out.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a lot of peace that happened today with it, so I'm feeling a lot better. But it's still it was going to be a big change, and I was mentally preparing for the change, and then it didn't happen. So then I was like, wait, okay, I'm mentally prepared for this big change, and now I have to deal with all of this, but my life has not changed, and so I don't know why I'm panicking so much.
Sure. I think it was maybe the what if, what could have happened, and kind of the residual, and maybe stress or anxiety. Moving out it's tough, especially in today's economic society. Jeez Louise, it is tough for anybody to move out, and so it's a big deal when somebody moves out. And it's because it really is your life is changing. It's in an instant. It's one of those things that in an instant, your life as a whole kind of changes, right? From the way that you do your routines, from the way that you drive to work, from the way you interact with your family, because you no longer live with your family. You no longer live with your mom, your dad, your siblings. So it just it's one of those things. After a certain day, life is just different.
Yeah.
And so I could see why, maybe for some of you guys are trying to figure out, moving out and what does your life look like after college or whatever it may be, or maybe you're moving jobs and you're also moving places, and it really is one of those things where your life just kind of changes out of nowhere, and it's just kind of well, here we are. But I'm sure your parents are happy that you're not moving out.
No. Yeah, they're thrilled. They're good. I'm happy too. It's good to be home with my family and stuff right now.
They love you. They love you. And you got a pretty sweet deal with them right now.
I do. Yeah. And I miss my dog. I'll miss my dog.
Oh,
so
good
much.
old Gus.
Well, and Lucy.
Oh wow.
And the other dog.
It's mostly Gus.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, what is our topic today?
Wait, what about you?
Oh yeah. I forgot about
what's
me.
New in Tim's life?
Life is good.
Tell him about your bench.
Yeah, we just bought a bench, guys, for our. I love how a few episodes, maybe 8 episodes ago, we did something very similar with a few episodes.
Couch.
It was the couch. We're big adult moves. We're buying furniture and refurnishing. So we still been kind of slowly been on that grind, buying furniture. So in our bedroom, we have this nice
bench
cedar cedar orange wood bed set, and we wanted a bench for like the end of the bed, so you can sit down, put on your socks, and not have to struggle, flamingoing your sock or or jumping on your bed. But we have a bench, so we just bought a bench, and we're really really excited about it. It's nice. It's the same color.
Yeah, literally the same.
It's
it
so
looks
sweet.
Like it belongs.
So for all you who maybe have a bench, I bet you like maybe, a good 65% of you probably have a lane bench. I think that's what they call it, or a lance, but I forget which one it is. But it's made in Virginia. Yeah, it's made in Virginia, and basically these are kind of like your historically, it's like your what's the word? Your the bench that everybody gets, your staple. Yeah. It's your staple. And on Facebook Marketplace, where we buy a lot of our furniture, everybody is just selling these things. But the nice thing is that every single one of them has like a slightly different look. Mm-hmm. Whether the upholstery is a little different or the design is a little different, but they're all generally kind of built the same. So I sound so old, don't I? This is so riveting. That sounds so old. The bench. I love it. So, yeah, as you can tell, I did a lot of research, going to the bench business. I love it.
It was so sweet. I walked in, and he goes, Rachel, come look at my bench.
Look at our bench. I was so proud. I was like, look. And it just matched the room so well. So I was so happy.
Yeah. You guys get hyped over, like, the smallest things. I know. It's amazing.
I know. I think a big part of it is just because it's like, I think that like when you own a home, it switches your perspective. Growing up, you're like you don't understand why your mom and your dad are doing all the stuff they're doing to the home, right? And then it's like, oh, now I have to help them with it. Oh, I gotta do the yard with my dad, and I gotta build cabinets, whatever. And it's like, but now you're now that I'm a homeowner, to see just how much care and love goes into a home. It's just it changes your perspective, and so like even down, grass. Yes. Very much so. yes. Or like my bench. I'm just so proud of my bench. My grass is meh.
You got rhubarb too out there.
We got some Jurassic rhubarb, guys.
They're huge. Yeah. The leaves. We should insert the photo.
Insert the photo here.
I'm gonna send you the photo.
This is a picture of Rachel and Grace. They're picking some rhubarb that grows in the front of our yard, and we call it Jurassic rhubarb. It's ginormous.
The biggest leaves.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It's insane. And Grace has never really harvested rhubarb. Yeah. And since we moved here, they were already there. We just didn't harvest them. And so Rachel comes around, and she's like, "You guys have ginormous rhubarb. Do you guys want to make rhubarb tort?" Yeah. And Grace is like, "What is that?" And she's like, "It's really good." So then Rachel spent the next few hours teaching us how to make her grandma's rhubarb tort.
It was good. They're really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was awesome. Thank you for sharing that recipe.
I got you. And you got like jam now you can make.
Yeah, I know. And we still have like a ton of it.
It's so much rhubarb.
It's huge.
You could start like a company with all your rhubarb.
We're probably just the two rhubarb we got. Yeah. Honestly, though, it's like, it's good rhubarb.
It is good rhubarb.
It's good rhubarb.
It's good.
So if you guys have any rhubarb recipes, drop them in the comments below. And while you're there,
please,
give us a smash like button and subscribe to our channel. Why not? And share our channel. We're just
grow the community.
Just a couple of young adults learn how to adult, and also kind of
world full of adults.
Yeah, kind of just wanting to be in community with the other young adults. Mm-hmm. So send the word around. Yeah. But yeah, so no, good. Baby's doing good. Baby just turned 7 months old yesterday.
It's so crazy.
Huge, man. It's huge. By the time this comes out, he might be a couple weeks older than that already. But it's been really great.
Got more teeth.
Got more teeth. He started.
High five now?
He started teething. I think he's still got one teeth in it, and like if you stick your finger in his mouth, it actually hurts.
Yeah,
like it hurts.
I bet.
Yeah, he I saw this meme the other day, and it was like the progression of of 1 year of baby. And it's like little baby, medium baby, and then once they get to 1 year old, it's just a T-Rex, like a little. It's just a little T-Rex. That's basically where he's at right now. So
that's crazy.
But no, we're doing good. Okay. Wow.
Topics.
What we got?
So because this is a topic that we think we need more time to talk about because there's just so many. So that's why we didn't do worships at the beginning. But our question was, what is your church or Christian related hot take?
Ooh,
yes, and we got a lot.
We're dipping our feet in some warm water here,
Yes,
folks.
yes. There was some like sillier hot takes that we want to share with you, and then there were some like hot takes.
That maybe we'd want to put our takes in. Too,
yeah,
so.
but we have to do a disclaimer first.
Yeah. So, guys, we just want to let you guys know this episode, most of it is, for fun. We love having fun on the podcast. Yes. But, a lot of these are, opinions of people, who, of other people, right? And so we just want to put this out there that, we want to be respectful of people's opinions and what they want. Again, it's their opinions. They can decide, it's our opinions. It's not that you're right, that we're right, you're wrong. It's none of that. It's just we're just having a conversation about it, or we can laugh about it together. So, disclaimer: please don't get mad at us. It's just
these aren't our hot takes.
No, these
are your guys' hot takes.
Yes, we want to have some fun. All right, here we go. Hey, what we got?
Okay, the first one's great. Ready? All church basements smell the same.
Yo, tell me that if you know, bro, in the comments. If you know, you know.
It's so true. It's that musty, but it's like old carpet.
Yes, the old carpet, concrete walls. It's like
they all smell the same.
It all smells the same. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's like a hint of dew, a hint of must,
a little hint of coffee in there, a little coffee pot.
It smells like old books almost,
That's literally like an old library.
Yeah, when you stick your nose in an old book, and you go, and you're just like,
you doing
that's that? I mean, sometimes. gotta be honest. Sometimes, I mean, okay, but let's be honest, guys. Like, if you're in if you're in an old church or just a church in general that's been around for more than 10 years, and you go to the basement. It probably smells the same as your neighbor.
The same.
Yeah, it smells like your neighbor. It probably smells. At least let's all unite as different churches to agree upon this.
This isn't even a hot take.
That our basements
is like truth right here.
Smell the same.
Yeah, they do.
And we need to get down to the bottom of it. Why?
Why? We need to fix this.
Like, why?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, okay. That's a good
one.
The next one is closed-toed shoes should always be worn on stage during worship.
Always
be hashtag don't free the dogs.
Jeez Louise.
Honestly, I agree.
Okay. Let's think about this for a second. So in any circumstance, no open-toed shoes.
Okay, hear me out though. Because there's a difference within who on the team is wearing the open-toed shoes.
What do you mean?
Like if you're playing,
flip-flops.
like if you're like a female on Easter, you're wearing a dress and you want to wear sandals. You got your toes painted.
Okay.
Like it's like you have a whole vibe happening.
So
versus,
then maybe
versus like homies showing up in church. With like some flip flops, like straight out of like.
Looking like you just got off a cruise.
Yeah, there's a difference, I think.
Oh man, and it's always the bass player.
That's so true. He's always showing up in the flip flops. Always the flip flops.
If you're a bass player out there, I'm just messing with you.
Why?
Okay, I'm just joking, but man,
I think there's also a difference between like
oh man,
nice sandals like Birkenstock vibes and like flip flops.
Yeah, from Walmart, the $2 flip flops that hang up.
Yeah, I don't think you should show up in flip flops. But I also think, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion about it.
Yeah.
But I think that I agree, maybe not.
Maybe not. I've seen guest speakers wear open-toed like heels or something like that. If they're like a guest speaker.
I don't know. Maybe it is like a guy-girl thing.
You don't want
women dress up their shoes. It's like a dress-up type of flip-flop.
Yeah, but you don't also want ladies with flip-flops,
flopping around.
Right, flopping around on stage.
Maybe it's loud too. It's a loud like flip flop. Yeah, you want to trip and fall.
Yeah. It's a hazard. It's a liability. You know, if you can wear closed-toed shoes, just wear the closed-toed shoes.
Just wear the closed-toed shoes.
But I understand if you got a vibe going on, you got a vibe going on. I get it. But why you wearing heels to to worship on stage? Though? You might trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, be careful. You know what I'm saying? Gosh, that was a funny hot take for sure. I mean, like, hey guys, at any point in the video, if you feel like you have a hot take about one of our hot takes that we're reading here,
please
put it in the comments.
Please comment.
Put it in the comments. I would love to see all the conversations down there. That'd be hilarious to see.
It's so funny.
So good. Yeah. Let's put those dogs out. Let's leave those dogs at home if we can. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Sometimes dogs need to breathe too. So.
All right, moving on.
What's our next one?
This one, I think this one made me laugh for like 5 minutes. There should be a church Olympics between denominations, and then you could play things like spike ball, nine square. Like Gaga ball,
all the church activities,
denominations like come together.
That's awesome. But we do all the youth activities that every church does, like Gaga ball,
between the
nine
denominations,
kickball. Oh, that would be awesome.
I feel like that could be like a reality show.
Yo,
like Survivor.
But can you imagine just the processes of finding your representative team? Like all the churches of the whole nation of each denomination, has to play against each other.
Who would like play?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
pastor versus pastor.
I think it would be staff versus staff.
That's so funny.
And then it would be like church versus church. I would love
a show where that happens.
And then region versus region. And then we get down to like, this is our representative team for Southern Baptists. So this is our representative team for, Catholic churches. And then we all just come together and we all just play all of the youth games that every Wednesday youth students play, like nine squares.
Say like what you call it, like Awana Awards or something.
Yeah, like the Avengers of the like Awana, but the Avengers of church denominations.
It's so funny.
That would be hilarious. And then whoever comes out on top, that's the interpretation. That's interpretation.
That's crazy.
Just kidding, no, dude. Just kidding. Yeah, no, just kidding. No, we'll use their translation of the Bible. Oh man! I sure hope it's either ESV or NIV. We'll see.
Just literally, just some King
Just
James.
kidding. Version. All fun and games. That sounds dope though. Can you imagine?
I think it would be like a cool show.
I think it would be sick. I feel like people would get. If The Chosen is as big as it is,
I think that it could be big.
You do a reality TV show based off this
NBC?
idea.
Who does the reality shows? CBS. Oh, that's a store.
I forget. See, no.
That's a store.
NBC is like more sports, like more live sports.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know, but that's fine.
Anyway.
All right.
That's a good one. All right. This one is songs that aren't categorized as Christian music can still be worship songs to the Lord, even if it doesn't mention his name.
Ooh, that is a take.
That's a hot take.
Let's talk about that. That's one, and that's worship pertaining too. So.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that there are songs that I've listened to that I'm like, this feels like it could be a Christian song. But I don't think I've ever listened to a song and worshiped the Lord that wasn't like a Christian song. But I've thought about it for sure. I've thought about like, oh, these words like feel very like biblical to me, or this artist is writing from maybe
is this
that
for, like,
standpoint.
We're not talking about like Christian music. We're talking about like secular music.
Yeah, like secular music
that makes you feel or think of or worship.
Yeah, that you like worship the Lord while you listen to.
Interesting.
But I think that honestly, like there are artists out there that aren't putting themselves out there as Christian,
right?
But they have like
Christian influenced music.
Yeah, and I think that like Carrie Underwood. Oh yeah. Like she writes music all the time, and then she sings songs. Like she did a whole album where she sang hymns, and then she did like she added like How Great Thou Art to one of her albums.
Oh, she didn't
like write those songs, but she sang those songs.
Yeah.
So I think that there are artists out there that are Christian that they just don't write Christian songs. I think there are like underlying like themes within them. Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that they're like Christian songs then.
Yeah, I would be careful because it's like yes, like it may feel worshipful, because this is my perspective. It's like I guess it really depends on who wrote the song or what was the reason for the song. And at the end of the day, like we can if it makes somebody think of God, that's cool. Yeah. But I don't know if we can consider it, let's say, like a worship song or something like that, or something that, or like a secular song would be considered, worship to God, because the song, if it's a song that's not, of the Christian and worship world, it is considered then a secular song, written for secular reasons. Yeah. And most of the time, and we have to, even if we may feel like oh, I can hear God in this,
Mm-hmm.
or I see God in this. The song wasn't written for God. It was written for, let's say their mom that passed,
Yeah.
or written for an ex-girlfriend or an
Yeah.
ex-lover that they had. I just think that I guess for me, I just can't see how there would be a connection between worshiping God and like knowing what the music is about.
Yeah.
The song would have to be very discreet
Yeah.
and very what's the word? Very broad
Yeah.
to be able to influence somebody to feel that way. But I think most songs are pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
So.
I think we also too, you and I come from a stance too where we think about that. Like when we're
Often.
listening to a song, we're thinking
Sure.
about like, oh, where's this artist writing the song from? Like, oh, we listen to the lyrics that way. And then I do think that there are people out there that are just like, this is a really pretty song.
Yeah.
Thinking, praying, and it's like I'm singing about someone that I love, and so I think I can see why they would apply it then to like singing to the Lord.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I think that there has to be a fine line though, where you have to like
Yes.
really understand what you are singing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that I think that would be true.
Mm-hmm.
Just so, because again, it's just, along those lines of like, we got to be careful about, how the world influences us and how we see the world, because we're called to be set apart from the world.
Yeah.
So there has to be a line, right? And I think that, especially in music too, we just got to be careful with that. But I totally see where you're coming, where that person is coming from.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of music out there that, I mean, music is music too. Like,
Yeah.
not every song is gonna sound different. A lot of songs are gonna sound or be influenced by each other. It's gonna sound very similar, and it might, even if it's not a worship song, if it sounds like a worship song, it could influence you or it can bring about thoughts and emotions maybe
Mm-hmm.
similarly to that of worship music.
Mm-hmm.
But to consider it like worship to the Lord, I don't know. I don't know about that. So
Yeah. That could be like a whole podcast.
maybe.
I don't know. All right. This next one is dating should be for marriage, not just for experience and stories.
Interesting. Is that a hot take or is that a?
I feel like that's just a fact.
Yeah, would you get?
I don't know. I mean, yes.
Oh, I mean, maybe people need to hear
Yes.
it. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean.
I agree with you.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't know how many. Okay, all right. Let's be real here for a second, folks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We love you. And whatever you may be doing, if you feel like you need some discussions, have those conversations. But I want to say here, okay, that dating should be for marriage. I think that's important. Okay.
I agree.
I don't think it's biblical for us to date only for experiences or for, let's say, for
Testing.
they
always
right.
say like testing
or
the
testing the waters or whatever
Yeah.
like that. I think that you can build relationships, and I think you can
Yeah.
build friendships to emulate a lot of those things that you can get from dating somebody to get a good feel of whether or not you can be compatible with that person.
I think that there's a fine line though when you talk about dating, because I think a relationship should be for marriage.
Like
Like a dating relationship.
Yes, let's clarify
Because
that.
dates to me, this
Yeah.
is a whole
Yeah,
other conversation.
Sorry, yeah. So
Okay? I think what this is saying is going on dates should be, because it says dates should be for marriage.
oh yeah, okay.
But this
sure.
is what I think is, I don't think dates should be for marriage per se. Dates could be to get to know someone, to get in a relationship with them.
Okay.
And then once you go on like more dates, that should be like, oh yes, I see this person as maybe a future spouse. I want to pursue this. But I think that like if you want to go on an initial date with a stranger, you shouldn't be thinking about marriage right there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I need to clarify that. Sorry. So so growing up, when we say dating, we mean like actually like dating, right? Like being boyfriend girlfriend. But for a lot of our adult life, dating is more like, going out, meeting people, whatever it may be, and you're not in a what we call a relationship or a defined relationship. Yeah. Sorry, so let me clarify. Being in a defined relationship should be working only towards marriage. Yes. I think that there is space for you to get to know people.
Yeah.
And sometimes dating doesn't necessarily mean you end up being anything more than just acquaintances or more than just friends or more than just people who you've dated,
Yeah.
So I think that it's so Rachel, for you think that dating should be a goal or should be worked towards marriage, or
dating like more than once with the same person? Yes, for sure. Because I think that you've tested the waters, I guess,
with that first date.
But I also think, like, me and my friends talk about this a lot because we think that there's you over dramatize that word, dramatize. You over dramatize, like, going on a date. And, like, I remember I was, like, part of this, like, relationship Q&A night at a church, and they were talking, and she was saying, like, you should just be able to go on a date with someone, and it shouldn't be this, like, huge ordeal for everyone else. Because when everyone looks at you, like, going on a date, everyone's like, oh, I want all the gossip, I want all the tea, were they good on the date, and I'm like, it's literally a conversation with a title. Like, you're just titling, like, sitting down and getting to know someone.
Getting to know somebody.
And so if you sit down and you get to know someone and it doesn't work out, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And I think that we panic about that, and our friends panic about that. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry, it didn't go well. And I'm like, it's fine. Like,
like, I'm never gonna see that guy again.
No, and it's okay. Like, they weren't the one you want to then pursue, and that's fine. But
so this brings up a follow-up question. Then at what date does it turn from just getting to know somebody to then, like, building a relationship? Yeah,
I think,
like, is it the second date? Boom, you start.
I think it depends on the person. Because it depends on how long it takes you to like feel it out for yourself.
So would you say it's like a position of heart almost, in a way, because it's like how you feel about that person?
But then you should vocalize that to them.
No, isn't that a word?
100%.
Isn't that a word?
Like, don't like just keep going on dates and then, like, a month into it, be like, hey.
Because not only is that important, but it also helps define the relationship.
Because
what if the other person doesn't feel the same way?
Let's talk about age too here. Age too here, because I think about, like, I'm a middle school teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a middle school teacher.
Yeah.
And I have young girls come up to me all the time, like, almost in tears over a boy. And I'm like, stop. Like, I'm like, you aren't to this age. Like, there are so many years ahead of you, middle school girl, that, like, you're not gonna get married for like 10 years, basically.
Right.
Like, don't.
And these guys that are in your school are only a fraction of the.
They're babies. I'm like, you guys are babies.
Yeah.
But then I think about high schoolers, and they're like, you can get married in college.
Yeah.
And I think,
or fresh out of high school.
Some
people
you
get
can
married
get married
fresh out of high school. Man.
Like that in like, and so I think, like, to them, like, for us to be like, oh, you shouldn't be dating, you're in high school. I'm like, no, like, I don't know, because I think that there are some relationships that really work. I have friends that are married and they were high school sweethearts.
For sure. Yeah.
So I think if you're, like, in your 30s and you're going on dates and stuff, I think that's different than, like, a high school relationship.
100%.
Because your brains are developed. And you're not trying to figure out dating while developing.
And you can see more depth in that word, date.
So I think time frames are different.
Yeah,
but also,
sure.
It could be different. Time frames are different for everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know.
Hot take.
Okay. Hot take number, I don't know.
Was that number 4? Number 5?
Number 5? I don't know. Everyone is called to be a part of the global missions, not just to be a missionary. There is a difference. So, like,
let's talk about
the church mission versus, like...
Oh, like evangelism.
Yeah, like evangelizing versus to be a missionary. That's
for sure.
good.
No,
I
that's
agree.
Good. No, 100%.
I agree with this hot take.
I agree with that.
I think that's a complicated thing, because I think people often think, like, oh, shoot, like, I'm called to be a missionary, I'm called to do evangelizing, but they don't realize that could just be a conversation with a neighbor.
100%. Right.
And I think that's freaky for people.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, I think that it's just the clarity of what that purpose looks like.
Yeah.
I think they don't. I think that for a lot of us, we don't really know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just talking to your neighbor, but maybe it's something much more. Maybe it's to go into vocational ministry. Maybe it's become a missionary. Wherever that may be. But I always say that the best way that you can evangelize is just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Open it up, right? And even if you don't know that person, if you can start a conversation, you can sneak Jesus in there somehow. And in a way, that's evangelism. I mean, that not in a way, that is evangelism.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that.
I will say too, like, this is like another dive into the hot take. Is I've been thinking about this lately, because we At our church right now, we're doing an event with middle schoolers. And one of them mentioned to me the other day in one of our group breakouts that they were too scared to talk to people about the Lord. And we talked to them about planting seeds and what that looks like. And I think evangelizing isn't just verbal communication of this is the gospel, this is what Jesus did for you. I think that that's a big part of it, and that's like our goal when we evangelize. Sure. But if you're unable to do that, you still are planting seeds just by starting a conversation 100%. With them.
Yeah, and I think that a big part of like evangelism or spreading the gospel or planting seeds is like for us young adults, right? We're in a different space because a lot of other young adults that are not Christians or, you know, who maybe have gone to church but doesn't anymore, a lot of it really is just hurt. A lot of it is church hurt. And I think that, you know, when we talk about the gospel, you know, it's not that we're trying to convict people or have a conviction or make people feel a conviction or feel convicted. The Holy Spirit would do that nevertheless, right? And the Holy Spirit will do the conviction. But for us, right, our goal is to share the good news. Yeah. And that good news is that you're a sinner, and I am too. But God has given us a way to be saved, right? And God has given us hope and truth. And a way for eternal life, and that is the good news, right? And whether or not they reject it, you know, whatever, you know, they can reject it, whatever it is. Again, that's planting a seed in there. But if you can get to a point where you can almost shift the conversation from, hey, do you know that you're a sinner and that Jesus that you can't do anything to you know that you can't do anything for yourself to be saved, which is true, to I know that there's pain and suffering in your life. And I know that there is things that you're struggling with. But God has made a way for you to move on from that. And I think that a lot of people, even just that perspective switch, it's like, we're not saying that, you know, you're a sinner, so you're going to go to hell, and that, you know, that and that the only way to do it is through Jesus Christ, which is true. Yeah. But it's more than that. It's more about, you know, like, how do we get them to see that willingly, instead of feeling like you're the judge when you're not, right? God Almighty is the judge, but that we are just sharing the good news that we ourselves know, and that is we've been through suffering, we've been through pain, and I know that you have been too. So why not walk with us? Yeah. Why not walk with you through that pain? Because at the end of it, there's victory for you, right? And that victory is right here, right? Yeah. The gospel, the Bible. And I think starting a conversation of authenticity and genuineness is probably the best way to go. And you know, and there is a place, right? There's a place for convicted speech. Yeah. You know, there is a place for that.
But I think that comes later, though.
Yeah, but for most people, right? Like Paul of the Bible, what a guy! Half his books are just yelling at Christians for doing the wrong things because they know better. Yeah. But I often think about the book of Philemon. It's such a short book. Philemon. Yeah, it's such a short book. I
used to say Philemon.
And it's Philemon. But the book of Philemon, right? Paul writes on behalf of what's his name? I forget it starts with an O. But Philemon is not the servant. Philemon is the person he's writing the letter to. And Philemon had a servant who ran away with some of his money, some of his wealth, and ran away from him and went to Rome, right? And Paul coincidentally meets him in Rome and actually changed his life. And now this servant has become a servant of God and is doing good works in Rome while Paul is in jail. And so Paul writes this letter, right? And he sends it back with this servant to Philemon, and basically saying, Philemon, no longer take this person as a slave, but take him as a brother in Christ. Forgive him the things that he has done wrong, and if you still have something against him, pin it on me. Yeah. Right? Pin it on me. And I often think that that's, you know, how we should receive people, you know, in the same manner. It's like before they even get to that point, right? Before they even meet Jesus, right? That we should have that perspective already. Like people who've gone to church but have fallen away, right? our goal is not to make them feel even worse than they are and feel convicted. We know how they feel. We know that, right? But just like Philemon accepting his servant back as a brother, we should have that perspective, that stance when we go out to talk to people who maybe are hurt from church, hurt from Christianity, who are wanting to come back, or maybe haven't thought about it for a while, that they could be that servant of Philemon who will come back.
Yeah.
And when they do, we are that brother that accepts them back in.
Yeah.
So I think if we all could come from that perspective, we'll be much more of a better place for invitation and for openness and inclusivity. That isn't to say, right, that there isn't that conviction doesn't exist. No, the Spirit will convict the way that the Spirit convict, right, and He will, and the Spirit will do what it will, and so, I think that's important for us to kind of think about when we go into this idea of how do we give globally back to, into the mission of God. So.
No, that's good. Yeah. I like that. That's a good lead into this one.
Hot take.
Good lead. We spend more money on Halloween costumes than we do on missions and to unreached people.
I'd agree with that. Dude, that's a hot take, man. That's a hot take.
Okay, I have beef with Halloween now.
What do you mean?
Like within the last 3 years, I stopped celebrating Halloween.
Oh, maybe Halloween is just a hot take in general.
Halloween is a hot take. I encourage you all to go online and Google what Halloween is, because it's not good. It's not a good holiday.
Rachel, we're just trying to have some fun.
No.
Oh.
No.
Rachel.
This is This is like a heated debate.
It's a hot take right from Rachel.
I have a lot of friends that like scary movies.
Sure.
And they like to be scared. They're like, let's go to haunted houses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Get that away from me.
I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy being scared. But I also just think it's so freeing for things to enter your life that aren't supposed to enter your life. Like you just tapping into things you shouldn't be tapping into. And like the Halloween itself is just not a good holiday. Like it's literally that's what you're doing, is you're being like, hey, evil spirits, welcome, and we're celebrating you. And I just think that's not good. And I think we're disguising it with cute princess costumes and candy. So
hot take.
That's my hot take. Y'all can grill me in the
she says
in the comment section.
And she says, and for me in my house, we will not do Halloween.
No, we're not. No, but I agree with this. I think that we do spend a lot of money on even like Christmas and things. You spend so much money on for gifts, decorations, costumes.
But I think that there's merit in that, though. I think there's one thing to just be able to enjoy the space that you're given. And to be able to decorate. I mean, that's why we decorate our homes in general. Right. It's like Christmas. I mean, Christmas is about Christianity, but it's also or about Christ. But it's also a holiday representing family and love, which are all attributes of our Christian faith. Right. So it's a huge thing. I think that's fine. Halloween. Costumes, Halloween is debatable too. And I think that you have every right to feel like, to have that perspective and that opinion. But there is a part of that merit of dressing up, even if it's not a monster or whatever. But to be able to be surrounded by people, like say Halloween parties, right? Like you go Halloween parties, but it's really just a costume party. Come dressed up as a costume, and just be able to have spend time with family and friends in that manner too. I think that there's merit for both of that. But I grew up halfway through elementary school, we stopped doing Halloween. Oh. For kind of a similar stance. My parents thought about that too. So we stopped doing Halloween when I was a kid, and so we were the kids standing in the window watching other kids go trick or treating.
Just wanting
candy. It was so sad, dude. I think the last thing I was the Blue Power Ranger.
You were the Blue Power Ranger?
7 years old. Was my last
Why
the blue
year. One?
I just love blue, so I was the Blue Ranger, Billy. That's right.
You know their names?
I only know Billy. I'll be honest with you, a little bit.
You said it so confidently that I was like, he knows all the Power Rangers.
Yeah, no, I just know Billy. I should know the other ones, and I did at one point, but I haven't watched it in a while.
Do you know which one I liked the best?
Which Power Rangers or which Power Ranger of the Mighty Morphins?
I don't know their names.
Okay.
I liked the pink one.
I was about to say the pink one.
Do you know why I like the pink one?
Because it was pink.
It's the only girl.
No, the yellow one was a girl.
No.
Yeah. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the yellow one was a girl.
No way.
Asian. Yeah, Asian girl.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then in one of the movies or like later in the season,
I think it was
black.
I think it was a guy.
No.
It's always been a girl.
Well, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like the one that you think of, it's probably the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's yellow. It's a girl.
Oh.
Search it up.
I didn't know that.
Search it up afterwards.
Okay, I'll look up afterwards.
Yeah, but yeah. So Halloween, I get that. But Thanksgiving and Christmas, when we decorate, I think there's merit for us to do that.
We just rabbit holed into Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers. Well, I was sad because I'm like, I was one of those kids that just watched in the window, watching people pass with their kids. So sad. So sad.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You cannot live a double life being a Christian. Partying / worship. They're different. You can't do both.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, this one confuses me a bit.
One more time.
But I think we get it.
I think we get it.
You cannot live a double life.
A double life.
Double life.
I think
so
like
partying
and
then going to church on Sunday.
For sure. What do you think about
this? This is my thing on this, because I think there's partying is broad. That's a big.
That's true.
That's a big scope, because you could party like go clubbing, and then you could party like I'm going swing dancing on Saturday with my friends to dance and then leaving.
Mm-hmm. But let's assume. But
let's assume we're talking about like going
clubbing,
to the club.
Yeah.
Going to the club. Yeah. My response to this, in my opinion on this, is like I think about like Matthew 7 talks about like honoring your body and honoring your soul and honoring your mind. And I think not even just partying, but everything you do should be honoring to God, and what you're consuming should be honoring to God.
Amen.
And so, like, there's for sure a difference between going to a club and like watching a movie that has inappropriate things in it. But I think like what you're consuming should be honoring. So if you are going out clubbing and partying, getting drunk, being unsafe, like, I don't think that that's honoring to the Lord. And you're honoring, because you're not honoring your body. You're not honoring your heart. And so I think you shouldn't be doing it, in my opinion. But I think that there are a lot of other things that people are doing that aren't honoring to the Lord that I would put in the same category, I think. Yeah.
Like, would you say that music fits in there?
Oh, for sure. Like music that's just filling your brain with words and things. Yeah. TV shows, movies.
Yeah. No, I agree with, I mean, I don't know if it's even really a hot take. I think that, the Bible clearly speaks about living an authentic life in Christ. And so, if you live, I mean, Paul writes about this a lot in his letters to Corinth and to Rome and to Galatians, right? It's like if you are a Christian, if you believe that Jesus Christ is your Savior, then your life and your lifestyle reflects that, right? That there's obviously there's the internal transformation from the inside out. So it starts inside, but then the out reflects that of what's happening inside. So to say that like you are changed by the Spirit and you're changed by your salvation through Jesus Christ, and then to continue to sin knowingly, knowing well that you're not supposed to, but continuing to do it, is that a reflection of how you've been transformed from the inside? And I would argue no. So hot take, I don't know if it's a hot take. I think that it's something that whether you know it or not, I think it's true. Yeah. I think that whether you know it or and are not doing anything about it, or you know it and you are doing something about it, we know that that's truth. We know that we can't be living that
also
way.
Calling it a double life confuses me. Yeah. Because I think that it's like you only have one life. Yeah. And so what does it mean by like you're calling it like a double life? Like you're being a completely different person? Yeah,
it's basically you're living as a double person. Like you're living one life and the other. And when they say life, it means lifestyle, not like life, not like body life, lifestyle.
Oh, my brain, my brain clicked.
Yeah. You're living two lifestyles.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the hot take is it's just an opinion, and I don't think that we are to say too like you can't do that. No, because we don't know you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like it's between you and God, right? Yeah. But there's obviously clear things to, you know, for us to read like that the Bible says you shouldn't do. Yeah. And so, you know, whether you know it or whether you know it and are acting upon it, or know it and you're doing something about it to fix it, you know that it's there. It's truth. Yeah. Right? We shouldn't be living that way. But.
Yeah. This leads into a good one too.
Yeah.
Our good one. Our next one.
Our next one.
That didn't say it was good. Maybe. I don't know. Here we go. Curse words aren't actually bad.
Ooh.
Unless directed towards someone in a foul way.
I have heard this argument. What do you think? I have heard this.
I think. Okay, I think about like the verse. The verse, and isn't it in Ephesians? I think it's like Ephesians 4. It talks about like, don't let
there be no evil that comes from your mouth.
Yeah, and people are always like, it doesn't say don't curse. But then I often think about like calling someone like, hey, you're a butt. Like that is the same as calling someone like a curse word because you're like being foul and you're like calling someone.
Yeah, in the nature of the word, you're cursing them.
Yeah, and I think like curse words, like I'm not gonna say curse words, but I think that there are some curse words that weren't created to be directed towards people. And I think that they were created as like a response, like even saying like, "Ah, man," like things like that. And so, in my personal opinion, I don't think that all curse words are like so sinful.
Yeah.
But I try not to because I want to honor the words I'm saying out of my mouth to Jesus, and I also want to honor those around me.
Yeah.
And I think that they become a habit.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that like swearing can become a habit. I think that is fair to say.
And I don't want to tap into like the habit of swearing.
Yeah, you know, and I think that for a lot of people, it's something that is a habit that they've been doing their whole lives. You know, this is my stance on it. I don't think that cursing should be a thing if you're a Christian. I don't think that you should curse if you're a Christian. The reason why, and even if curse words aren't addressed to somebody, curse words were developed, you know, by man.
Yeah.
Right. If we as Christians are to be we as Christians are to be set apart from the world. That is in everything that we are. That means the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we speak, the way that we worship, the way that we treat other people. It can't be the same as the secular world. In the secular world, some would argue that swearing is secular, and I would agree that swearing is a secular thing. And you know, somebody who's unchurched, who hates God, they will swear all over the place, right? And for us to be Christians, we must be set apart from that. We can't be diving into the same things that people are that you know the world are doing. So in that aspect, being that we're called to be separate, we can't talk the same way, and that includes cursing. Of course, we have that verse from Ephesians that talks about how let there be no evil that comes from your mouth. And I think that in context, it's technically talking about anything that is like from cursing to wishing bad on somebody. It doesn't have to be swear words. It's, I think, a lot broader in context. Like gossip, like you shouldn't be gossiping. That's a part of that verse. But I think that just in the way that God has called us to be different, and the way that we think, and the way that we speak, and the way that we carry ourselves, we have to consider the way that we speak. And I don't think cursing is something that we should be doing as Christians. We can't, you know, how can someone distinguish us apart if we're swearing just like the non-Christian right next to us? I saw this one video too that said that like, how can you be worshiping God with the same mouth and then right after church you start swearing swearing out of nowhere? Like, how can you say that that's the same or that that's the same kind of praise? And so I think that what you said before, if like you want to honor your words to God and the way that you speak, you want to honor, I think that's true. I think that that's valid. It's like we need to be in everything that we do, in every aspect that we are, we have to be honoring to God and what is holy and right to God, right? And I don't think that swearing just because you're not addressing it to somebody does not make swearing okay. I do truly believe that if you are to be a Christian, that you know you have to set yourself apart from those who don't know God or those who will push against God. Again, you can't be swearing, and then you can't distinguish yourself from the person next to you that's not a believer.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
So I know that's a little bit tougher, a little bit harder of a take, but I have a I'm passionate about it. So
yeah. No, I think it's good. Yeah, I think too, like being an example. Like you were saying, like you want people to see you differently than other people that aren't Christian, and so it's hard to be an example when your lifestyle, like the last hot take, your lifestyle and the things that you're saying is the same.
That's right.
Like what separates you from that.
That's
so
right.
yeah. Okay, let's do. We're running high on time here. Okay, get it. Whoa.
Ooh. Get it. Whoa.
I don't know if we should. Maybe we should skip that one.
Should we just read it and then move on from it and just go?
Well, I feel like we touched it a little bit.
Okay.
Wait, actually, I'm curious.
Okay.
Because this for sure was someone who thought passionately about this.
Okay.
But you did this, and so I'm just curious like what your stance is. Okay.
Here we go.
Getting married young should be discouraged in the church.
Oh, jeez. Holy buckets. What do you mean by young?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what do you mean by
like,
young?
What's young? Is that 18 to like 21,
well,
22?
If they're talking about it, historically, back in the day, people were young when they get married.
That's what I think.
I mean, wasn't Mary like a teenager?
Like
yeah, well, I don't know if she was that young.
She was baby.
Yeah, but she was a young mom. So you know, so if you want to argue that, I mean, argue the Bible all you want. But gosh dang, that isn't to say that I'm encouraging 13-year-olds to get married. That's what I'm saying. Because again, right, Romans 13 says we got to obey the authorities and the laws of the land. So we got to be careful with that here.
Crazy.
But like my parents, I'll be honest, my parents were really young when they got married.
Yeah.
So my parents are immigrants, so their culture is a little different. So my mom got married maybe when she was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Some of the girls over there get married even younger,
That's crazy.
and that's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal, and we're talking to like old guys, like we're talking like 13-year-olds marrying 30-year-olds. Like it's just a different cultural thing. But I don't think that marriage necessarily like is tied to an age.
Well, I think it's interesting that it says discouraged in the church.
Oh.
So does that mean like what we're teaching our kids like in church?
Well, I don't think anyone is explicitly teaching.
What are we teaching them?
Yeah, I don't think anyone is explicitly teaching.
I'm curious, like, does this person's church like teach them this?
Yeah, I don't know if they explicitly teach. At least in the churches that I've been a part of, I don't know if we've ever explicitly taught that it's okay to get married like fresh out of high school.
Yeah,
I think that's a conversation between you and God first of all, and then also your parents.
Yeah,
and especially if you're just coming out of high school and you need direction in your life. I know a lot of young parents out there. Yeah. I know a lot of young couples out there who got married young, and I've known old people. I mean, think about this, guys. Your parents' probably got married fresh out of high school, and they've been married 60 years, 35 years, 40 years. So why would we need to discourage that from happening? Mm-hmm. Maybe yes, today's world is different. Yeah. But today's world, we also have the most amount of resources that we have ever had in history to be able to help and save marriages. And it's just about going and getting there. So theoretically, if you get married young, maybe it's beneficial. Maybe it's beneficial. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased towards getting young. Again, like I know a lot of friends and families who get married in their 30s. And a lot of people still do get married in their 30s. I'd say most people get married in their 30s or late 20s. But I don't see why it would be wrong for like somebody that's 20 to get married.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot take. This is like based on opinion and family and your parents and your relationship status.
100%. I truly think and there's benefits to getting married young. Like you grow together, which is huge, and that's tough. But there's something about that strengthens your marriage together. Yeah. But there are also benefits getting married older because then you have your life put together. You're probably financially ready at that point, and then you just kind of combine everything together, and you're both solid people. Yeah. Again, I know like my brother-in-law, he just got married and he's 21. And yeah, that's like young. That's young. But some people get married younger. But do I have any doubt in my mind that they're going to be a great couple? No, of course they're going to. No, I have no doubt that they're not going to be a great couple. Yeah. I know they're going to be a great couple. And they are a great couple, because they have Christ centered in their lives. Again, it always comes down to first your conversation with Christ and your faith. And they've had conversations with their families, and they both, graduated their college degrees, and they're ready. Why not get married? Why not get married? Why wait? So, I'd say that it could be a back and forth, but I don't think that it's considered I don't think that churches have to speak on it or touch on it.
No, I agree with you.
I think it's more personal.
Yeah. Okay, this is our last one. Ready?
Here we go, folks.
Online church isn't biblical, and it actually propagates our consumeristic view of faith rather than learning about real community and fellowship.
What do you think about that?
I think I agree.
I agree with
I think that because of 2020, people have gotten lazy. Yeah. And I think that online church is a really cool thing that we get to do in this phase of life.
Yeah, this day and age.
In this day of age, because it gives people a chance to be a part of their church when they're away. But when you are not away and you're doing it out of laziness and not wanting to get up, or because it's inconvenient to go to church, things like that.
Yeah, or you make it as an excuse.
Or as an excuse, yeah. I don't have to go because I can watch it in bed. Like, I think that you're missing out on what church is. Because I think about, like, the word church isn't just the building, but, like, how your community and those around you, like, we are the church.
Sure.
And so you're not tapping into being a part of the church as a we. And I think that you're missing out on a lot. And so I agree that and we are consumers now. We consume
100%.
And we're
everything online.
Everything online. Yeah. And so it's convenient, and I think you can be it can be inconvenient, but what's the word? What's the opposite? You have to be
convenient?
No, you can be inconvenienced to go to church on a Sunday, but you shouldn't feel like that. Like, it should be, you want to be there, a part of the community.
For sure.
You long to be there. I when I'm not feeling good on a Sunday morning and I can't go to church, I'm sad. And I'm watching the online service I really want to be there.
You just feel kind of icky.
You feel icky, dang, I can't make it. And so to just choose that, that to me is it's hard. And I get to I know I have friends that have cabins far away, and you go places and you want to still be a part of your church. 100% online church, amazing. Sure. Yeah. But I agree. I don't think your church should be just online church.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that, because we were in South Dakota a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we watched church online, on Sunday. We watched church online on Sunday, and it was great. Mm-hmm. But that is to say though that I've been a part of the church. Yeah. I've been in community, and I know I know my pastor, and I know and I know people, and so it's enjoyable because of that, not because of the convenience per se, but it's because I've already been a part of that community that I can call that. I can say yes, I'm into my I'm streaming into my church, right? Yeah. It's hard to I would argue it's hard to call it my church if you don't know anybody, if nobody knows your name. Yeah. But that is to say though, I also want to clarify too, is that the Holy Spirit's gonna move how the Holy Spirit moves, right? Yeah. God is gonna move how God is gonna move, and if that's through online services, then yes. But I do think, again, with that accountability stuff, it's when you get to that point, right? Yeah. That where God has moved you to a place in your heart through these services that you want to be, that you believe that Christ is your Savior, and that you have made that decision, then I would say from there,
get connected.
You got to continue. You have to continue to walk that faith, and a big part of that faith is to be in fellowship with other Christians. Yeah. And so then I would encourage you, if you're kind of in that limbo where you're scared to go to church, or you're nervous because you've been a part of the online service for a few months now, but you don't know anybody, just go. I think if you just go, even if it's start with one Sunday a month. Yeah. Just to go and get people to recognize you and to know your name. Mm-hmm. Meet the pastors, if you can. Meet the pastors, and then start going from there. Because, again, a big part of our faith journey is to journey with each other.
Yeah. Edel.
Edel. That's right. Come on now. Edel. So that is to say, I think there is a place for it. Like how you were saying, there's a place for online services and the stream. But it will never, I don't think it will ever take and replace the authenticity and genuineness of meeting people in person and being in the building. Yeah. So go back to church. Go back to church if you're listening. Go back to church. Get into your community. Build relationships. Walk with people. Even Jesus himself didn't walk alone, right? He did have time alone with God, but he walked with his disciples. He walked with thousands of people. Be in communion, I think, or in community. Jesus did it, and I think that there's a reason why he did it, and we should be, if we are taking Jesus as our example, we should do it.
No, so, I agree with you. 100%.
100%. Good hot take.
Community is big.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that was the last hot take, y'all. That was it.
Hot takes. Guys, if you guys have any more hot takes you'd like to share with us, we'd love to see more hot takes. Leave it down in the comment. Or if there was a hot take today where you're like, I agree, or I disagree, share it in the comments below. We want to encourage and engage, teach and learn from each other. I'm okay with being wrong. Rachel's okay with being wrong. If you know something we don't know, put it down in the comments below. Or send us an Instagram message. We would love to conversate and talk about some of these hot takes, because at the end of the day, right, our goal as Christians all together is to honor God, to glorify him, to live in a way that is holy and pleasing. And if we have people who are spurring us on and making us better, and what's the phrase? What's the word? It's kind of like spurring.
Why are you doing this like a fly?
It's like metal. What is it? Metal.
You're like a fly. You know when flies do that?
Like I'm planning my next flight.
They land and then they do this with their hands.
We spur each other on. So if you guys have something that you guys want to share, please send it to the comment section or send us a message on Instagram. Although that said, we have our next
question of the month. The next pod. Hey! Okay. I bet you can't guess what the topic's going to be.
Don't say that.
With this question. Don't think you'll know. All right. The question is, how do you resolve conflict?
Yeah, I bet you were talking about, loving people.
Puppies.
How do you resolve conflict?
Conflict? We're curious.
This one is one that we've had since the beginning of the pod, but we have a list of stuff that we want to talk about, and we're kind of making our way through. So this one has been kind of in the book stewing a little bit for a while. So give us your answer. Yeah. How do you resolve conflict? Another way to say is like reconciliation. How have you reconciled maybe conflicts or relationships that you maybe were on the brink of losing and you bounced back? Yeah. Give us a share and see, and we'd love to hear it and share it in our next podcast. Heck
yeah.
So
that being said, y'all,
thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys.
We'll see you on the next pod.